right, so now we're going to do our cutting and our scoring for our card base. And like I said in the last video, when I cut all the pieces, I used a guillotine trimmer. For this one, you need to have a trimmer with a slide rule. If you want to cut all the pieces on a trimmer like this, absolutely possible. But for this, you cannot do the cutting for this card with a guillotine trimmer. It won't work. And the reason being, for the first cut, I need to start at the 1-inch mark and then go up to the 5-inch mark. You can't do that with a guillotine. So you need this type of trimmer for this. So I've got my paper lined up at the 1-inch mark. I cut from the 1 to the 5, and then I'm going to lift the ruler up, move my blade to the 7-inch mark, and cut up to the 11. So I've got 2 cuts in my base here, and I'm going to flip it over and do the exact same thing on the other side. So I'm going to hold my paper firmly in place because I don't want it to move. Start at the 1-inch mark. I'm only cutting to the 5-inch mark, and these blades are great because they have arrows, so you see exactly where the blade is and where it starts and stops. So I'm starting at the 7 and then going to the 11. So we've got 4 slits in there, and they are even on both sides. So we can put away our trimmer right now. We don't need it anymore. And I'm going to take out my scoreboard. Put that aside. So I love the Score Pal simply because my card fits in there perfectly. I can see all my marks, so I find it makes it really easy for me to do my scoring. I could use a trimmer and then use either a scoring tool or a stylus in the channel. Some of these trimmers also come with scoring blades. You could use that as well. The only thing to be careful of with the scoring blades, sometimes they're really sharp is not the right word. So you have to be careful with your pressure because sometimes I feel it tears the paper. So first score, we are going to score at the 1-inch mark just to my cut line, and at the bottom just to my cut line. Then we're going to score at the 2-inch mark all the way from top to bottom. And then we're going to score at the 4-inch mark top to bottom. 5-inch mark just to the score line. And then from the bottom up to the score line. And then 7-inch mark just to the score line. And again from the bottom up to the score line. 8-inch mark from top to bottom. 10-inch mark from top to bottom. An 11-inch mark just to the score line, and from the bottom up to the score line. So this is what your card should look like. I will have a diagram with these measurements on your supply list so you don't have to remember everything here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fold all the score lines that go from top to bottom. So the second one in goes like this, and then same on the other side. And you want to make sure when you're doing your folding that your tops and bottoms all line up. Because if they're not straight, if these first folds aren't straight and lining up, then your card is going to be wonky. You can use the side of your tool here to make sure those scores are firmly pressed in place. And then I'm going to take this top one here and fold them opposite. Same with this one. So basically what we're doing is we're doing that first score on that score line, and then the folds are completely opposite. And because we've already folded some of those lines and made sure that they're nicely in place, it's really easy once you've done that first part to have this done. So there we go. We have our card base. And really it's a blank slate for whatever you want to do. So I'm showing a few different versions of this card in this class and how you do them, but the sky's the limit. The cards that I'm showing individual steps are more Christmas and holiday themed, but you can go and, like this is one that I did many years ago that has a beachy oceany theme. So I'm not showing you how to do this one because these stamps were discontinued a long time ago, but it just shows you the variety you can do. You could do a birthday card, you could do an Easter card, Valentine's, male birthday, whatever you want. It's just a neat one because it folds flat, so it's cheap to mail, but I love when cards stand up and give you some dimension. So there we go. We've got our card base. I will see you in the next video where we're going to start creating a version of this card here. So So we're going to be using a die cut machine and some die cuts. We'll see you in the next video.